Okay, hi guys. In today's video, we'll be looking at Bhakti Moment in medieval India. Okay, this is a really important chapter because Bhakti Moment was such a moment that developed, actually saved the Hindu religion from collapse, and it actually saved, kind of brought reform to the Hinduism. Okay, in this chapter, we will be looking at the rise and spread of Bhakti Moment in India, Sufism and its development in India, Bhakti saints like Sankara, Ramanuja and others, Ramananda, Kabir, Guru Nanak and their teachings, Bhakti Moment in Bengal and Maharashtra, and the importance of Bhakti Moment. Okay, we have already seen the Bhakti cult in Tamil Nadu. When we look at the Sangam literature, all these things we have seen. It is in the ancient history part. I have not gone to that till now. We will be doing it in the later part. Now we are dealing in medieval history. So when I discuss about Sangam literature and all, we will discuss about that kind of Bhakti moment. So apart from that, a newer form, Bhakti cult, developed in Tamil Nadu. It was by the Shivite Nayanas. Those were the devotees of Shiva, Lord Shiva, and the Vaishnavite Alvas. Vaishnavite means these people are the devotees of Vishnu. Preached the Bhakti cult during the Pallavas, Pandyas, and Cholas. Okay, it was in the ancient time. But the spread of Bhakti movement in medieval India is a different kind. Okay, it is different. This medieval Bhakti movement was the direct result of what? The influence of the spread of Islam in India. New religion had emerged in India by the Delhi Sultanates. Okay, now the religion, Islam promoted all like all the people were equal in the religion, but in Hinduism there was still casteism, there was still social differences existing. So Bhakti movement emerged as a reformation movement. Okay, Bhakti movement was a direct result of the influence of the spread of Islam in India, monotheism or the belief in one God, equality and the brotherhood of man, and the rejection of rituals and class divisions were the distinct features of Islam. As I told you, all these features were there in Islam. These Islamic ideas created a profound impact on the religious leaders of this period. Okay, moreover, the preachings of the Sufi teachers shaped the thinking of Bhakti reformers like Ramananda, Kabir, and Nanak. Okay, Khwaja Muhyiddin Chishti is the most famous Sufi saint of India. Okay, this is a portrait of him. Keep that in mind. Now, Sufism. Sufism is a liberal form or reform movement within Islam. Its origin is in Persia, then it spread into India. Okay, the first Sufi saint was Sheikh Ismail of Lahore. Keep this in mind. Okay, first Sufi saint was Sheikh Ismail of Lahore. And in India, the most famous Sufi saint was Khwaja Muhyiddin Chishti, who settled in Ajmer, which became the center of his activities. Okay, he had many disciples called the Sufis of the Chishti order. Another well-known Sufi saint was Bahauddin Zakaria, okay, who came under the influence of another famous mystic, Shihabuddin Suharwadi. Okay, his branch of Sufi saints were known as Sufis of Suharwadi order. Just know about it, but don't forget about Sheikh Ismail and Khwaja Muhyiddin Chishti. Okay, and going down, yet another famous saint was Nizamuddin Aulia. Nizamuddin Aulia is also famous. Nizamuddin Aulia, who belonged to the Chishti order and was a mighty spiritual force. Okay, these Sufi saints were revered even today. By who? By Muslims, not only by Muslims, but also by large number of Hindus. Okay, their tombs have become popular places of pilgrimage for both the communities. Okay, when we look at why Hindus and Muslims were involved, okay, we will read about it in the coming sessions. Sufism stressed the elements of love. What was Sufism all about? It was about the elements of love, devotion as effective means of realization of God. Love of God meant love of humanity, and so the Sufis believed the service of humanity was a tantamount to the service of God. Means when we are helping our fellow beings, it is literally helping. It was like we are serving God. That was Sufism all about. Okay, while Orthodox Muslims emphasize on external contact, Sufis less stress on inner purity. That was the difference. Okay, they never went for pomp and show. It was like inner purity, meditation, devotion, or music. All these things were in Sufism. When Orthodox believe in blind observations of rituals, Orthodox Muslims were ritualistics, but Sufis considered love and devotion as the only means of attaining salvation. According to them, one must have the guidance of a pir or a guru, without which spiritual development is impossible. Okay. Then other ideas emphasized by Sufism was meditation was there, good actions were there, repentance of sins, performance of prayers, pilgrimage, fasting, charity, suppression of passions of ascetic practices by ascetic practices. Oh, okay, all these things were there part of Sufism. These liberal and unorthodox, what attracted the Bhakti saints? Liberal and unorthodox features of Sufism had a profound influence on the medieval Bhakti saints. Okay, in the later period, Akbar, the Mughal emperor, appreciated Sufi doctrines which shaped his religious outlook and religious policies. Okay, when Sufi movement was becoming popular in India, about the same time, Bhakti cult was gaining strength among the Hindus. Okay, the two parallel movements based on doctrines of love and selfless devotion contributed a great deal in bringing what the two communities closer together. However, it didn't last long. Okay, now we will be looking at Bhakti movement. Bhakti movement in the 9th century, Shankaracharya started the Hindu revivalist movement, giving a new orientation of Hinduism. He was born in Kalladi in Kerala. Okay, what was his doctrine? Doctrine was Advaita or monoism, but it was hard for the common man to interpret. Abstract, it was too, he couldn't understand. Moreover, there was a reaction against Advaita concept of Nirguna Brahman and God without attributes, without qualities, and with the emergence of idea of Saguna Brahman, God with attributes. Okay, in the 12th century, after Shankaracharya, we can see Ramanuja, who was born at Siriperumbedur. Okay, it was in Tamil Nadu, preached Vishishta Dvaita. According to him, what was it? God is Saguna Brahman. Okay, the creative process and all the objects in creation are real. The earth is real, it is not an illusion. That is what Ramanuja said. Therefore, God, soul, matter are real. And but God in inner substance and rest are his attributes. Okay, he also advocate Prabhitta Marga and path of self surrender to God. See, Bhakti moment will be dealt with more. All these saints, Bhakti saints, I'll be doing in another video. But go through this in this chapter. The best point is that there are a lot of around 24 Bhakti saints we need to study. But in this chapter, we will be seeing the main ones. It is a really beneficial chapter because we will be able to classify which are the main Bhakti saints and we will be able to study them properly. Okay, in the 12th century we had Ramanuja, and in 13th century we have Madhava from the Kannada region. This has been asked. Okay, Kannada region. Madhava preached in Kannada region or Kannada language. Okay, Dvaita dualism of Jivatma and Paramatma. He propagated that concept. According to his philosophy, world is not an illusion, same as Ramanuja, but a reality. God, soul, matter are unique in nature. Then we have Nimbarka and Vallabhacharya. Vallabhacharya is important. Were also other preachers of Vaishnavite Bhakti in the Telangana region. Okay, Telangana region. Sudas is very important, was a disciple of Vallabhacharya. Vallabhacharya is famous because one of his disciples was Sudas. He popularized the Krishna cult in North India. In Hindi literature and all, we can see Surdas, a lot of poems based on Surdas. Okay, we have then Mirabai. Mirabai was also a devotee of Krishna. In Hindi literature, we can see a lot of poems by Mirabai. Okay, she became popular in Rajasthan. She was actually a princess. Okay, she didn't want the luxurious life and she devoted her life to Krishna. Okay, Tulsidas, another important person in the Hindi literature is Tulsidas. He was a worshipper of Rama and composed what Ramacharita the Hindi version of Ramayana. This is very important. Who wrote the Ramacharita Tulsidas. Okay, in the 14th and 15th centuries. It began in 19th centuries, then 12th century, then 13th century we have who over here Madhava, and 12th century we had Ramanuja, 9th century we had Shankaracharya. Okay, all this, and we have reached the 14th century and 15th centuries. We have Ramananda and Kabir and Nanak. We have Ramananda, Kabir and Nanak remained great apostles of the Bhakti cult. They drew inspiration from old masters but showed a new path. They helped the common people to shed age-old superstitions and attain salvation through bhakti or pure devotion. Unlike the early reformers, they were not linked with any particular religious creed. Okay, it was an independent movement. They did not believe in rituals and ceremonies. They condemned the polytheism and believed in one God. This is important. They believed in single God, single entity. They denounced all forms of idolatry. They strongly believed in bhakti as the only means of salvation. They also emphasized on the fundamental unity of all religions. Okay, now we are looking at Ramananda. Ramananda was born in Allahabad, was originally a follower of Ramanuja. Okay, he was a follower of Ramanuja. Later, he founded his own sect and preached his principle in Hindi at Benares and Agra. Okay, he was a worshipper of Rama. As the name suggests, he was also a worshipper of Rama. He was the first to employ the vernacular medium to propagate his ideas. The simplification of worship and emancipation of people from the traditional caste roles. He wanted to free the people from the traditional caste roles. Okay, he opposed the caste system. This is a very important point. Ramananda opposed the caste system and chose his disciples from all sections. See, we can see Ramananda's disciple was Kabir, he was a Muslim weaver, then Raidasa, a cobbler, Sena, a barber, then Sadhana, a butcher, Dhana, a jat farmer, Narahari, a goldsmith, and Pipa, a Rajput prince. Okay, and from this we can learn that Kabir, next one is Kabir. Kabir is a very important Bhakti saint, Kabir. Kabir was a disciple of Ramananda. Okay, among the disciples of Ramananda, the most famous was Kabir. He is literally famous because in the North Indian region, we can if you go, Kabir is respected by both Hindus and Muslims. He was born to a Brahmin widow. Okay, and he was brought up by Muslim couple who were weavers by profession. Okay, he possessed an inquiring mind, and while in Benares, learned about much about Hinduism. He became familiar with Islamic teachings also, and Ramananda initiated him into the higher knowledge of Hindu and Muslim religious and philosophical ideas. Kabir's object was to reconcile Hindus and Muslims and establish harmony between the two sects. Okay, whenever we have a question about Hindu or secularism, Hindu and Muslim unity, we can always quote the example of Kabir. Kabir is an excellent example. Okay, because he devoted much of his life for the harmony between Hindu and Muslims. Okay, he emphasized on the equality of man before God. Okay, he emphasized on the essential oneness of all religions by describing Hindus and Muslims as pots on the same clay. This can be quoted in your mains answering if question arises. To him, Rama and Allah, temple and mosque were the same. He regarded the devotion to God as an effective means of salvation and urged that to achieve that, this one has to have what? Pure heart, free from cruelty, dishonesty, hypocrisy, and insincerity. He is regarded as the greatest of the mystic saints, and his followers are called Kabir Panthis. Still, there are Kabir Panthis in northern India. Okay, now we go for Kabir's disciples. Ramananda's disciple was Kabir, and Kabir's disciple was who? Guru Nanak. Okay, another well-known saint preacher of the medieval period was Guru Nanak, founder of the Sikh religion and a disciple of Kabir. He was born in Talwandi near Lahore. He denounced caste distinctions and rituals like bathing in holy rivers. His conception of religion was highly practical and sternly ethical. Okay, he exhorted people to give up selfishness, falsehood, and hypocrisy, and to lead a life of truth and honesty. Okay, and kindness. Abide pure amidst the impurities of the world was one of his famous sayings. Okay, his life was dedicated to establishing harmony between Hindus and Muslims because he was a disciple of Kabir. Same principle was followed by him. His followers were known as Sikhs. Sikhs have both the characteristics of Hindus and Muslims as well. Okay, then we have Chaitanya. Okay, Chaitanya was another well-known saint and reformer of Bengal. Okay, this question can be asked. Chaitanya, who was a saint or Bhakti saint from Bengal or a reformer from Bengal? It was Chaitanya. He popularized the Krishna cult and he renounced the world, became an ascetic, and wandered all over the country preaching his ideas. He proclaimed the universal brotherhood of man and condemned all distinction based on religion and caste. Okay, he was also against casteism and showed great sympathy to the sufferings of other people, and love and peace, and showed great sympathy to the suffering of other people, especially that of the poor and the weak. He believed that through love and devotion, song and dance, a devotee can feel the presence of God. He accepted disciples from all classes and caste. His teachings are widely followed in Bengal even today. Okay, then we have Gnanadeva. Gnanadeva is a founder of the Bhakti Moment in Maharashtra. This question has been asked. Okay, was a founder of Bhakti Moment in Maharashtra. It was Gnanadeva. Okay, it was called Maharashtra Dharma. Okay, he wrote the contemporary Bhagavad Gita called Gnaneshwari. Okay, this is important. And in the previous page, we saw who we saw Tulsi Das, right? Tulsi Das He worshipped Rama and he composed Ramacharitmanas, Hindi version of Ramayana. And going down over here, we have Gnanadeva. He was the founder of Bhakti Movement in Maharashtra, and he wrote a commentary on Bhagavad Gita called Gnaneshwari. Gnaneshwari. From the name itself, we can see it was written by Gnanadeva. Okay. Then we have Namadeva. Namadeva preached the gospel of love. He opposed idol worship and priestly dominion or domination. He also opposed the caste system. As almost Bhakti, all the Bhakti saints opposed caste system. In the 16th century, Eknada opposed caste distinctions and sympathetic towards lower caste. He composed many lyrics and his bhajans and kirtans were famous. Another Bhakti saint of Maharashtra was Tukaram. Tukaram is very important. You know why? Because he was a contemporary of Shivaji. Not only that, he is responsible for creating the background for Maratha nationalism. Okay, and he opposed all social distinction. Tukaram is very important. Okay, in a UPSC point of view, the importance of Bhakti movement. Okay, importance of Bhakti movement. We have seen on what context, what was the reason of the rise of Bhakti movement, and we need to see what is the importance of Bhakti movement. The importance of Bhakti movement was very great. Various preachers spoke and wrote in regional languages. See, there was a development. Bhakti movement provided an impetus for the development of regional languages. See, in the case of Hinduism, the problem was that it was mainly in Sanskrit. Not everybody could understand it. But in Bhakti movement, we can see regional languages were given importance, like Hindi, Marathi, Bengali, Kannada, etc. were given importance, and they made a direct appeal to the masses. Common people accepted it. Okay, caste system. Another important feature is that caste system was condemned by the Bhakti saints. The lower classes were raised to a position of great importance. The importance of women in society, Mirabai, everybody, he was also a Bhakti saint. Women, the status of women increased because of the Bhakti movement, gave equal importance to them. Moreover, the Bhakti movement gave the people a simple religion. Lot of rituals were there, it was removed. Without complicated rituals, they were required to show sincere devotion to God. The new idea of life of charity and services to fellow people developed. Okay, and even though it was good, Bhakti movement failed to some extent because the Bhakti saints, they could not. If this question arises, we can say because there was no proper institutional religion. We can say in the case of Sikhism was an established religion. The Bhakti saint Guru Nanak was able to amass a vast number of followers. He had a proper lineage. But in the case of other Bhakti saints, it was not that much done. So Bhakti movement later fade away. Only some part of it remained. Like we have Kabir Panthis, we have Sikhism, but a majority of it vanished. Okay, what all we learned, the learning outcome, the origin and spread of Bhakti movement in medieval India, Sufism and its different orders such as Chishti and Sharwadi orders. Okay, Sharwadi orders, we have seen it. It was under that Sufi saint. Then early Bhakti saints like Shankaracharya, Ramanuja and others. The teachings of Ramananda, Kabir and Guru Nanak. The Bhakti movement in Bengal and Maharashtra. And importance of Bhakti movement. Now, quick question. Bengal, who was the Bhakti saint? It was Chaitanya. In Maharashtra, it was Gnanadeva. Okay, remember that. Okay, I hope you people understood my class or my reading in this chapter. We'll be doing most of the chapters. We'll be hopefully completing the medieval India part via the Tamil Nadu text. So I hope you people are able to follow my videos. If there are anything that I need to improve, do let me know in your comment section. Okay, thank you. Jai Hind. God bless you all.